Imagine for a moment that you're standing in the middle of chaos. People are shouting, things are falling apart, and everyone around you is losing control. Now imagine you completely still, calm, focused, eyes steady, breathing slow. Someone insults you, no reaction. Someone doubts you, you don't flinch. Someone tries to break you, and you just look back at them with quiet strength. That's power. Not muscles, not noise, not dominance. Power, the kind that makes the world pay attention, is when nothing and no one can shake what's inside you. See, most people think strength is loud. They think it's about showing the world how tough they are, how they don't care. But that's not real toughness. Real strength is calm. It's steady, it's composed. It's the person who walks through fire and doesn't let the flames define their face. And I want to talk to you about that today. Because if you want to win in life, really win, you have to master one thing: your emotions. You have to learn to act as if nothing affects you. That doesn't mean you're cold or heartless. It means you've reached a level of control that very few people ever get to. You see everything, you feel everything, but you decide what matters. That's the difference between being reactive and being in command. Think about it. How many times have you let someone ruin your day with one comment? How many times have you replayed a conversation in your head, letting it eat at you, making you question your worth? You gave that person access to your peace. You handed over your control, just like that. But what if you didn't? What if you could walk through criticism, rejection, fear, and keep your head high? What if you could be unshakable, no matter what storm you're standing in? That's not just mindset. That's mastery. And that's where we're going today. Because the moment you stop letting things affect you, you stop being controlled by the world. You stop being reactive and start becoming powerful. So sit with me for a while. Let's talk about what it truly means to act as if nothing affects you. Not because you don't care, but because you've chosen to rise above everything that doesn't deserve your energy. Every single day, life throws things at you designed to test your emotional limits. Someone cuts you off in traffic. Your boss criticizes your work. A friend forgets something important to you. A stranger on the internet says something cruel, and before you even realize it, your mood shifts, your chest tightens, your pulse quickens. Your mind starts writing a story about what just happened. You think, how dare they? Or I can't believe this. You replay it in your head over and over again, letting the frustration build. But here's the truth most people never learn. You don't have to let any of it own you. You are not a puppet pulled by the strings of other people's behavior. You are the gatekeeper of your reactions. No one gets access to your peace unless you open the door and let them in. That is emotional sovereignty, the ability to govern yourself regardless of what happens around you. It's not pretending you don't feel. It's recognizing that you do feel, but you get to decide how those feelings move through you. You can experience anger without becoming angry. You can feel pain without drowning in it. You can notice fear without surrendering to it. That's real strength, not suppression, but mastery. Most people have it backwards. They think control means never feeling anything. They believe emotional toughness is about shutting off their heart. But that's not control, that's numbness. Emotional sovereignty is the opposite. It's awareness. It's standing in the middle of the storm and saying, yes, I feel this. But it doesn't get to decide who I am or how I act. When you reach that level of control, you stop being easy to manipulate. People can't trigger you because your peace doesn't live in their hands anymore. You stop giving power to words that don't deserve a reaction. You stop bending your emotions to fit someone else's behavior. You realize that your energy is sacred and not everyone gets access to it. This doesn't happen overnight. It's something you build, one choice at a time. Every time someone tries to provoke you and you choose not to react, you're strengthening that inner muscle. Every time you feel the rush of anger rise in your chest and you take a breath instead of lashing out, you're taking back control. Every time you stop yourself from over-explaining, over-apologizing, or overreacting, you're training your mind to stay steady. Think of it like emotional weightlifting. The first time you pick up the weight, it's heavy. You struggle. You slip. You drop it. But the more you practice, the stronger you get. Over time, what used to trigger you doesn't even register anymore. Things that once consumed your thoughts barely make a ripple. That's progress. That's growth. You have to understand that emotions are signals, not commands. They're there to inform you, not control you. Anger tells you a boundary's been crossed. Fear reminds you to prepare. Sadness shows you what you value. But they are messengers, not masters. When you confuse the two, you let temporary feelings dictate permanent decisions. And that's how you lose your power, by giving emotions the authority they were never meant to have. The moment you start observing your emotions instead of obeying them, everything changes. Try it the next time something upsets you. Instead of immediately reacting, pause. Feel the emotion rise. Watch it. Name it. I'm angry. I'm hurt. I'm disappointed. Don't rush to fix it or fight it. Just acknowledge it. That moment of awareness is the beginning of control. Because now you're choosing what to do with that feeling instead of letting it choose for you. There's a certain elegance in staying calm when others expect you to break. It confuses people, it disarms them, it makes them question what kind of strength you hold inside. But more importantly, it keeps you grounded. It means you're no longer living at the mercy of external chaos. The world can swirl, shout, and spin, but inside you are still. That stillness is power. That stillness is peace. And here's something else. People will test that calm. The moment you start mastering yourself, the world will push harder. It's almost as if the universe asks, "Are you sure you've learned this lesson?" Someone will press your buttons. Life will throw challenges at you, not to punish you, but to give you opportunities to prove your growth. Every test is a mirror showing you how much stronger you've become and where you still have work to do. When you stop being reactive, you start being intentional. You stop saying things you regret. You stop making choices from impulse. You start leading yourself instead of being dragged by emotion. That's how great leaders, athletes, and high performers operate. They don't let adrenaline or anger dictate their moves. They process, they pause, they decide. That's why they can handle pressure that would break most people. But let me make this clear. Emotional sovereignty doesn't mean silence. It doesn't mean letting people walk all over you. It means responding with clarity, not chaos. It means expressing emotion from control, not out of control. You can say what needs to be said without raising your voice. You can enforce boundaries without hostility. You can walk away from what disrespects you without needing to prove a point. That's the kind of power people feel without you even having to announce it. Imagine living your life like that, where no one's words could throw you off balance, where no situation could make you lose your center. That's not fantasy. That's practice. That's the result of choosing every day to be the gatekeeper of your reactions. To ask yourself before responding, is this worth my energy? Does this deserve my peace? Most of the time, the answer will be no. And that no will save you time, stress, and unnecessary chaos. The world rewards emotional intelligence. The calm one in the room is the one people trust. The one who doesn't react is the one people follow. Because composure signals confidence. When you're calm, people assume you know something they don't. And you do. You know yourself. You know your limits, your values, your center. So the next time life tests you, and it will, remember this. No one controls you unless you hand them the remote. You can't stop the waves, but you can learn how to stand firm. You can't stop people from talking, but you can stop giving them the power to touch your peace. Every reaction you don't give is a piece of your power you keep. Act as if nothing affects you. Not because you're untouchable, but because you've chosen to protect your energy. You've chosen not to be moved by things that don't deserve your movement. That's emotional sovereignty. That's self-leadership. And once you master that, the world can throw anything at you, and you'll still stand calm, centered, and in control. There's a point in life where you realize how much of your energy has been wasted trying to control things that were never yours to control. You've tried to manage how people see you, how they speak to you, how they treat you, how situations unfold, how the story ends. And every time, you end up drained, frustrated, and disappointed. Why? Because you are fighting battles that don't belong to you. The moment you try to control the uncontrollable, you hand over your peace to chaos. Detachment is not about caring less. It's about caring differently. It's about understanding that control is an illusion and peace is a choice. The only real control you have is over your own actions, your own responses, and your own mindset. Everything else, people's opinions, their moods, their behavior, life's unpredictability, is outside your domain. Once you truly accept that, you become untouchable. Because no one can take from you what you've already released. We've been conditioned to think that caring means holding on. We hold on to relationships long after they've expired, to jobs that suffocate us, to memories that haunt us. We hold on because we think letting go means losing. But the truth is, letting go is freedom. Detachment isn't about walking away from life. It's about walking through life without being dragged by every storm. It's realizing you can be fully present, fully engaged, and still not be enslaved by outcomes. When you master detachment, you stop being emotionally addicted to control. You stop chasing closure from people who will never give it. You stop begging for explanations that won't heal you. You stop clinging to how things should be and start accepting them as they are. That acceptance doesn't make you weak. It makes you wise. Because wisdom knows when to step back, when to surrender, and when to say, this no longer serves my peace. Most of the suffering in life doesn't come from what happens, it comes from our resistance to what happens. We replay events in our minds, trying to rewrite them, as if thinking harder could change the past. But detachment teaches you something powerful. The past is done, the future is unknown, and the only thing you can truly influence is this moment, right now. So ask yourself, what can I control here? Usually the answer is just one thing, your attitude. When something doesn't go your way, pause and breathe. Instead of saying, why is this happening to me? Shift your mindset to, what can I do with this? That's detachment in action. It's not about giving up, it's about letting go of the need to control outcomes. You don't stop caring, you stop clinging. You focus on effort, not expectation. You do your best and release the rest. Think of detachment like holding sand in your hand. If you grip it too tightly, it slips through your fingers. But if you hold it gently, it stays. Life works the same way. When you cling to people, to plans, to control, you lose them. When you allow things to flow, you give them room to breathe. And in that space, peace lives. There's a calm that comes from knowing you did everything you could, and that the rest isn't yours to carry. Some things are meant to fall apart. Some people are meant to leave. Some paths are meant to end. Detachment is the art of not fighting the natural rhythm of life. Because the harder you fight to keep something that's trying to leave, the more you suffer. But when you release it, you create space. Space for something new, something aligned, something meant for you. This isn't about coldness or indifference. It's about emotional maturity. It's about knowing that people will disappoint you, plans will fail, life will throw curveballs, and that's okay. You can love people deeply and still let them go when they stop growing with you. You can chase a dream and still pivot when life redirects you. Detachment gives you the courage to evolve without guilt. It allows you to move on without resentment. The truth is, control is rooted in fear. Fear of loss, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown. When you're attached to outcomes, you're constantly anxious, constantly bracing for disappointment. But when you detach, you realize something powerful. You can survive loss. You can survive failure. You can survive endings. You are not defined by what you hold on to. You are defined by how you rise after you let go. Imagine standing in front of a storm. You can either scream at the wind, trying to make it stop, or you can stand firm and let it pass. Detachment is the second choice. It's trusting that you don't have to control the weather to survive it. It's faith, not blind faith, but the kind built from experience, from knowing you faced storms before and made it through. One of the strongest people you'll ever meet is someone who has mastered the art of letting go. They don't chase what's not meant for them. They don't beg for understanding. They don't force what isn't flowing. They move forward with grace. And that grace doesn't mean they didn't care. It means they cared enough about their peace to walk away. Think about how much lighter you'd feel if you stopped trying to control everything. If you stopped obsessing over what people think. If you stopped expecting others to behave the way you would. If you just accepted that everyone's on their own path and your job isn't to fix them, it's to protect your energy. That's the shift detachment gives you. You start seeing things clearly. You stop reacting emotionally and start responding with wisdom. You stop needing things to be perfect and start appreciating what is. You begin to understand that not everything lost is a loss. Sometimes it's a release. Detachment isn't about closing your heart. It's about opening it to the truth that peace matters more than control. So when life feels heavy and unpredictable, when people disappoint you or situations spin out of control, remind yourself you can't control the wind, but you can adjust your sails. You can't make people stay, but you can choose not to chase. You can't force outcomes, but you can trust the process. You don't have to fix everything. You don't have to hold everything. You just have to show up, do your best, and then let it go. That's power. That's maturity. That's peace. The moment you stop gripping life so tightly, it starts to unfold naturally. The right things find you. The right people stay. The right opportunities align. Because you're no longer acting from fear. You're living from trust. Detachment is the quiet confidence that whatever's meant for you will never miss you. And whatever misses you was never meant for you. It's the strength to walk away without bitterness and to love without possession. It's the wisdom to know that control is small, but peace is infinite. And once you choose peace over control, you'll never go back. There's something magnetic about a person who stays calm when everyone else loses control. You've seen it before. In a crisis, when voices rise and panic spreads, there's that one person who doesn't flinch. They don't shout. They don't scramble. They don't feed the chaos. They breathe, observe, think, and act with precision. That person has presence. That person radiates quiet power. That's what Stoic confidence looks like. Strength that doesn't need to prove itself. In a world obsessed with noise, composure is the loudest flex. Everyone's trying to be heard, to look strong, to appear fearless. But real confidence doesn't need to perform. It doesn't need validation. It doesn't need attention. It's calm, deliberate, and unshakable. When you have Stoic confidence, you don't get swept away by the emotional storms around you. You stand in the middle of them, grounded, because you trust yourself. You know who you are, and that knowing becomes your anchor. The reason composure is so powerful is because it's rare. Most people react instantly to anger, to fear, to insecurity. They let their emotions drive their words, their actions, their decisions. But composure means you've trained yourself to respond, not react. It's a choice, a discipline, a mindset that says, I will not let the outside world dictate my inner state. You can only develop that kind of control through experience, through discomfort, through pain, through moments where you wanted to break but didn't. Composure doesn't mean you're emotionless. It means you've learned how to use emotion as fuel instead of fire. You still feel anger, but it no longer burns you. You still feel fear, but it no longer paralyzes you. You still feel sadness, but it no longer drowns you. That's what makes composure so commanding. It's born from mastery, not denial. The calmest person in the room is usually the one who's already faced storms you can't imagine. Think about the people you admire most. They aren't the ones who talk the loudest. They're the ones who stay calm under pressure. They're the ones who can walk into chaos and bring order, not by force, but by presence. That's what makes leaders, negotiators and warriors stand out. Not their ability to dominate, but their ability to remain centered when everyone else is falling apart. People follow calm energy. It's magnetic, because calm signals control, and control signals strength. When you're composed, you send a message without saying a word. I'm not easily shaken. People feel that. They sense it in your posture, in your eyes, in your tone. Composure isn't just mental, it's physical. It's in the way you breathe, the way you stand, the way you move. It's the subtle confidence that tells others, I've got this, even when you're standing in the middle of uncertainty. The irony is that most people chase confidence through external validation. They want to look confident rather than be confident. They post, they brag, they flex, hoping the world will see their worth. But true Stoic confidence doesn't come from how others see you. It comes from how you see yourself when no one's watching. It's the quiet trust that says, I can handle whatever comes. It's knowing that no amount of noise, no level of chaos can take away what you've built within. Composure is the art of silence. When silence has power, sometimes the most dominant thing you can do is not react. When someone tries to provoke you, stay still. When someone insults you, don't respond with anger. When life throws you an unexpected blow, don't panic. Breathe. Assess. Move with intention. That's what separates the strong from the impulsive. The ability to hold your ground when the world expects you to collapse. There's a quiet strategy in composure. When you stay calm, you think clearly. You see what others miss. You make decisions based on logic, not emotion. Panic clouds judgment. Composure sharpens it. In a heated moment, the person who stays calm always wins. Not because they're smarter, but because they're more in control. But composure isn't just about crisis moments. It's a way of living. It's in how you handle rejection, how you deal with criticism, how you respond to people who misunderstand you. The world will test you in subtle ways through delayed responses, broken promises, unfair situations. Each moment is an opportunity to practice composure. Every time you don't react, you're teaching your mind that peace matters more than proving a point. People often mistake composure for weakness. They think silence means surrender, that calm means compliance. But they don't realize that silence is sometimes a strategy, that calm is a weapon. Composure doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care enough about your energy to protect it. It means you've outgrown the need to match anyone's chaos. There's an old saying, the lion doesn't turn when the small dog barks. That's composure. It's knowing who you are and refusing to waste energy on noise that doesn't matter. The world is full of small barks, criticism, judgment, gossip, disrespect. None of it can touch you unless you choose to engage. And when you don't, you rise above it all. Building Stoic confidence starts with self-trust. You can't stay calm in chaos if you don't trust yourself to handle it. You earn that trust by facing challenges and surviving them. Every time you go through something difficult and come out standing, you teach your mind, I can handle this. Over time, that belief becomes unshakable. So when the next challenge comes, your mind doesn't panic. It remembers. It remembers the strength, the survival, the composure. Practice it daily. When someone cuts you off in traffic, don't curse, breathe. When you're misunderstood, don't rush to defend yourself. Stay silent. When plans fall apart, don't spiral. Adapt. These small acts of composure compound into massive inner strength. You're rewiring your brain to respond with clarity instead of chaos. Eventually, your calm becomes your armor. People will notice it. They'll wonder why you don't react like everyone else. They'll test it, and when they do, you'll hold your ground. Because real power isn't in reacting. It's in not needing to. It's in smiling when others expect you to break. It's in choosing peace when chaos seems easier. That's the beauty of Stoic confidence. It's quiet, but it commands attention. It doesn't shout, but it speaks volumes. It's not about pretending to be tough. It's about mastering yourself so deeply that no situation can control you. It's when you can look at adversity, betrayal, or chaos and say, I'm good. I've been here before. I know how to stand. And here's the thing, once you've felt the strength of composure, you'll never go back to emotional chaos. You'll never waste energy proving yourself, arguing over nonsense, or reacting to every slight. You'll realize your calm is currency. It buys you time, perspective, and respect. So be the calm in the storm. Be the stillness in the noise. When the world expects you to crack, stand taller. When life tries to shake you, breathe deeper. Let your composure speak for you. Because in a world that constantly demands reaction, silence, steady, confident, unshaken silence is the loudest flex there is. Your mind is the most powerful muscle you'll ever own. It can create worlds or destroy them, build empires or burn them to the ground. Yet most people treat their minds as if they're passengers instead of pilots, letting emotions, impulses, and outside noise steer them wherever they please. Emotional fitness is about taking back that control. It's about realizing that, just like your body, your mind needs to be trained, challenged, and strengthened every single day. The problem is, we live in a world that trains everything except the mind. We lift weights for our bodies, but we never build endurance for our emotions. We track our calories, but we don't monitor our thoughts. We chase physical fitness because we can see the results, but the real transformation, the one that changes how you experience life, happens in the invisible world inside your head. Emotional fitness is what allows you to stay strong when everything around you collapses. It's what keeps you disciplined when motivation disappears. It's the ability to feel deeply, but not drown. Let's be real, emotional strength doesn't just show up one morning. You earn it the hard way. You earn it through disappointments that break your heart, through failures that crush your ego, through long nights where you question everything about yourself. Every challenge, every setback, every painful conversation is a rep in your mental gym. The more you face, the stronger you become, if you choose to use it. Because pain doesn't automatically make you stronger. Processing it does. What breaks some people builds others. And the difference lies in how you train your mind to handle struggle. When you go to the gym, you don't expect to get stronger by lifting light weights forever. You have to increase the resistance. Emotional fitness works the same way. The resistance is the discomfort, the argument, the rejection, the fear, the uncertainty. Every time you face something uncomfortable and choose to stay present instead of escaping, you're building emotional muscle. You're teaching your mind, I can handle this. That's growth. But here's the catch. Most people avoid discomfort. They run from pain, from criticism, from stillness. They numb themselves with distractions, scrolling, noise, busyness, because silence exposes what's untrained. But that avoidance keeps you weak, just like muscles atrophy when you stop using them. Your emotional resilience weakens when you avoid challenge. Strength only grows under pressure. You don't need an easier life. You need a stronger mind. Training your emotions means becoming aware of them before they control you. When anger rises, instead of exploding, you observe it. When anxiety hits, instead of spiraling, you breathe through it. When sadness comes, instead of pushing it down, you allow it to exist without defining you. Each time you do that, you're lifting mental weight. You're developing balance, patience, and control. The first few times, it feels impossible, like trying to lift something far beyond your ability. But over time, your tolerance expands. You recover faster. You stop being knocked down by every little thing. Consistency is everything. You can't train your emotions once in a while and expect lasting results. You need daily reps, simple, intentional practices that rewire your brain for resilience. Start your mornings with silence or reflection. Write your thoughts instead of letting them spin endlessly in your head. Expose yourself to small discomforts, cold showers, early alarms, difficult conversations. These moments teach your nervous system that discomfort doesn't equal danger. You begin to separate emotion from reaction. That's emotional strength, staying grounded while the wave passes. The truth is, emotional fitness doesn't make you invincible. It makes you adaptable. Life will still hit you. You'll still feel pain, loss, and fear. But instead of breaking, you bend. Instead of avoiding, you adjust. That's what strong people do. They don't suppress emotions. They regulate them. They don't run from pressure. They perform under it. They don't deny fear. They move with it. And that kind of inner discipline changes everything, from how you lead to how you love to how you handle failure. Look at anyone who's accomplished something extraordinary. They weren't born emotionally strong. They built it. They faced doubt, rejection, loneliness, and still kept going. They didn't wait to feel ready. They acted despite the discomfort, because they understood that emotion follows action, not the other way around. They trained their minds to do what needed to be done, even when they didn't feel like it. That's the real workout, doing the hard thing over and over until it becomes your new baseline. You don't grow by staying comfortable. You grow by surviving what was supposed to break you. Emotional fitness means turning obstacles into opportunities to practice control. When someone disrespects you, that's a chance to practice restraint. When life disappoints you, that's a chance to practice patience. When things fall apart, that's your chance to practice faith. The situation isn't the test, the way you respond to it is. And just like the body, your mind needs recovery too. Emotional training isn't about being hard all the time, it's about balance. You can't stay in fight mode forever. You need moments of stillness, gratitude, and reflection to rebuild your mental stamina. It's not weakness to rest, it's strategy. Rest is how you integrate lessons. Reflection is how you learn from them. Without recovery, discipline becomes burnout. But with balance, it becomes endurance. One of the hardest parts of emotional training is self-honesty. You have to face the parts of yourself you've been avoiding. The insecurities, the triggers, the fears. You can't strengthen what you refuse to confront. The strongest people aren't the ones who never struggle. They're the ones who stopped lying to themselves about their struggles. They look at their flaws, their wounds, their patterns, and they say, okay, I see you. Now let's work. That's how transformation happens. The more emotionally fit you become, the less you depend on external stability. You stop needing people to behave a certain way to feel okay. You stop needing life to be perfect, to be peaceful. You start carrying your calm with you no matter where you are. That's freedom. That's what emotional strength gives you, the ability to remain centered in a world that's constantly trying to pull you off balance. So if you want to be truly powerful, stop waiting for life to get easier. Train yourself to handle it better. Build your mental stamina the way athletes build their bodies, with consistency, pain, and patience. When your emotions try to take control, remember, you are the one holding the weight. You decide whether to drop it or lift it. You decide whether to crumble or rise. Every hard conversation, every failure, every disappointment is another rep, another opportunity to grow stronger. Keep lifting, keep pushing, keep showing up. Because one day, you'll look back and realize that the moments that once triggered you don't even move you anymore. That's when you'll know you've built something unshakable inside you. You've trained your mind like a muscle. And now nothing and no one can take that strength away. There comes a moment in every person's life when you're faced with something that could break you. The betrayal you never saw coming. The failure that knocks the air out of you. The loss that leaves you hollow. It's in that moment you learn who you really are. You can crumble or you can rise. You can surrender to pain or you can turn it into purpose. The warrior's mindset isn't something you're born with. It's something you forge in the fire. It's not about being fearless. It's about facing fear and moving anyway. It's not about being unbreakable. It's about choosing not to stay broken. Every warrior has scars. Every strong person you've ever admired has walked through darkness, doubt, and disappointment. The difference is that they didn't let those moments define them. They decided that no matter how hard it got, they would keep standing. That's what makes a warrior different from everyone else. Not the absence of pain, but the refusal to surrender to it. Strength isn't something that magically appears when life gets easier. It's something you build when life gets harder and you decide to keep going anyway. The warrior's mindset starts with one simple truth. You are responsible for how you show up, no matter what happens to you. You can't always control what life throws your way, but you can control how you face it. You can let the world harden you, or you can let it sharpen you. You can let people's cruelty turn you bitter, or you can let it teach you empathy. You can let failure make you fearful, or you can let it make you fearless. The choice is always yours. But here's the part most people miss. Being unshakable doesn't mean you don't feel. It doesn't mean you never get tired, never doubt, never cry. It means that even when you do, you don't quit. You can fall, but you rise again. You can bleed, but you keep fighting. You can be afraid, but you take the next step anyway. That's what separates warriors from the rest of the world. Resilience. The ability to move forward, not because it's easy, but because you said you would. The warrior's mindset is built through repetition. Every time life knocks you down, you have a choice. Stay down or get up. Every time someone hurts you, you have a choice. Close your heart or keep it open. Every time you fail, you have a choice. Let it define you or let it refine you. And the more times you choose to rise, the stronger you become. Eventually, what used to break you becomes your training ground. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start saying, what is this teaching me? That's when you know you've stepped into true power. A warrior doesn't waste time complaining about the battle. They focus on the strategy. They know that life is going to be hard, unpredictable, unfair. They don't expect comfort. They expect challenge. They train their mind to meet adversity head on, not with anger, but with focus. They know that the moment you let frustration or fear control you, you've already lost. So they stay centered. They stay grounded. They use every pain as preparation for the next test. Because warriors understand something most people don't. Life doesn't get easier. You just get stronger. You don't need to be in a battlefield to live with a warrior's heart. You face battles every day. Battles with your own thoughts, with your own habits, with your own doubts. The war isn't outside you. It's within. It's the battle between your excuses and your purpose, between your fears and your potential. Every day you wake up, you have to decide which side you're fighting for, and that decision determines your life. Being unshakable doesn't mean you never bend. It means you bend without breaking. It's the ability to take the hit and still move forward, to lose people you thought you couldn't live without and still find yourself standing, to fail publicly and still have the courage to try again, to walk through rejection, criticism, and uncertainty and keep your head high. That's strength, not the loud, flashy kind that brags, but the quiet kind that endures. There's a power that comes from deciding you will not be defined by pain. When you stop letting circumstances dictate your identity, you become unstoppable. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of life and start seeing yourself as the author of it. You understand that everything, every setback, every heartbreak, every failure was preparing you for something greater. That's the warrior's perspective. They don't ask for an easy life. They ask for the strength to handle the hard one. And make no mistake, warriors feel fear, just like everyone else. They just don't let it stop them. They've learned that fear is a liar. It tells you that you can't when you already have. Fear's job is to protect you. But if you listen too closely, it will also imprison you. So instead of avoiding fear, warriors use it as fuel. They let it sharpen their awareness, heighten their focus, strengthen their will. They don't try to eliminate fear. They learn to move with it. There's a certain peace that comes with this mindset, the peace of knowing that no matter what happens, you'll be okay, because you've built yourself to be that way. You've trained your mind to stay steady, your heart to stay open, and your spirit to stay unbroken. You stop chasing comfort because you realize that real fulfillment comes from growth. And growth is never comfortable. It's painful, messy, demanding, but it's also beautiful. because it turns you into someone who can face anything. When you start living like a warrior, the world begins to change around you. You stop reacting to every slight, every disappointment, every bit of chaos. You start responding with wisdom, patience, and purpose. People feel your energy, calm, steady, unwavering, and they start to trust it. Because true power doesn't come from dominating others. It comes from mastering yourself. You won't always feel strong. You won't always feel brave. There will be days when you doubt everything, when the weight feels unbearable. But even then, remember, strength isn't about how you feel. It's about what you do. It's about showing up anyway, doing the work anyway, standing tall, even when your legs shake. The warrior's mindset is built in those moments, when everything in you wants to give up, and you don't. So when life hits hard, and it will, take a breath. Stand your ground. Remember what you've already survived. You've faced storms before. You've healed from wounds that should have destroyed you. You've walked through fire, and you're still here. That's not luck. That's strength. That's proof that you are unshakable. Not because the world is kind, but because you chose to be. And that choice, that decision to rise every single time you fall, is what defines a warrior. It's not your armor or your victories. It's your endurance. It's the courage to keep walking through the fire, knowing it will hurt, but trusting that you'll emerge stronger. That's the mindset that changes everything. That's the mindset that turns pain into power, fear into focus, and adversity into advantage. So choose it. Choose to be the one who doesn't quit. Choose to be the one who stays calm in chaos. Choose to be the one who refuses to be broken no matter what life takes away. Because the truth is, the world can shake you, but it can't take you, not unless you let it. You are unshakable because you've decided to be. And that decision, made daily with grit and grace, will make you unstoppable. There comes a point when you realize that life isn't about what happens to you. It's about how you respond to it. Every moment, every challenge, every disappointment is an invitation to rise above the noise. The truth is, you will be tested. You will be misunderstood. You will face moments that shake your core. But remember this. You are not here to be fragile. You are here to be forged. Every part of your journey, the pain, the pressure, the setbacks, has been shaping you into someone stronger, someone wiser, someone more grounded. The calm you're learning to build, the control you're training to master, the resilience you're choosing to live by, that's your real power. That's what acting as if nothing affects you truly means. It's not that you feel nothing. It's that you've learned how to stay centered no matter what tries to pull you off balance. When you own your emotions, when you detach from what you can't control, when you stay calm under fire, when you train your mind like a muscle, and when you walk with the heart of a warrior, you stop living at the mercy of the world. You become the steady point in a spinning room. You become unshakable, and when you become unshakable, you don't just survive the storm. You command it. The strongest people are not the loudest ones. They're not the ones constantly proving their worth. The strongest people move with quiet confidence, with unbothered energy, with unbreakable purpose. They understand that the world will try to test their peace, but nothing can touch what's been built from within. And that's what you're building. Not an image, not a mask, but a foundation that nothing and no one can take from you. So from this moment forward, make a decision. A simple, powerful one. Decide that your peace is non-negotiable. Decide that no one has the right to disturb your inner calm. Decide that your emotions will serve you, not rule you. Decide that you will rise every single time life tries to push you down. Because here's the truth. People will talk, situations will change, life will test you, but none of it can break you unless you allow it to. The power you're seeking has been in your hands all along. It's in your choice, your response, your discipline. That's where freedom lives. So walk tall, walk calm, walk grounded. Let the world spin. Let the noise rise. Let the storms come. And as they do, stand there, Steady, silent, unshaken, and let your composure speak for you. Because when you act as if nothing affects you, it's not arrogance, it's mastery. It's the quiet declaration that says, I've trained too hard, learned too much, and come too far to lose myself now. You are not fragile. You are focused. You are not emotionless. You are evolved. You are not untouched by the world. You are simply untaken by it. That's what real strength looks like. So when life challenges you next, when chaos erupts, when people doubt you, when things fall apart, take a breath, straighten your shoulders, and remember who you are. You are the calm in the storm. You are the strength behind the silence. You are unshakable. Not because nothing affects you, but because you've chosen to rise above everything that does. That's the mindset of a warrior. That's the mark of a leader. And that's the kind of power that doesn't fade. It grows. Every time you choose peace over panic, clarity over chaos, purpose over reaction, you win. So stand in your strength, protect your peace, and carry yourself through this world with the kind of composure that makes people stop and wonder what it is that keeps you so steady. Let them wonder. Let them talk. Let them test. Because no matter what happens, you know the truth. Nothing and no one can shake what's unshakable inside you. Now go prove it.